Good morning, lovely people. How are you doing on this wonderful Friday morning? Hope you've had a great week. First things first, how was your Valentine's weekend? Did you have fun, whatever you were doing, whether you were celebrating the Festival of Love or doing something else? My husband and I went away to Amsterdam, as you know, because last week's live was from there. And we had a really lovely time. It's a beautiful city, so wandering around quite slowly because my husband's on crutches at the moment. He's hurt his foot. So we had a lovely couple of days there. And then on Sunday, the epic journey home started. So Sunday morning, our flight got cancelled because of Storm Dennis, and we went to the airport Sunday evening for our rescheduled flight. Got on the plane. We were one of the first on the plane because my husband's on crutches, and they only let about 10-15 people on, and we were kind of like, where is everybody else? And then the pilot came out of the cockpit, got on the tannoy and kind of said, we don't quite know what's happening at Heathrow, but we've been told not to come. And so we're going to have to deplane you all and put you up in a hotel overnight. So they put us up in this fabulous hotel, a whole apartment just for the two of us, and a huge buffet, so we completely stuffed our face. But there were certainly worse places to be stuck overnight. So that was Sunday night, and finally flew back. So flight to Gatwick didn't work, flight to Heathrow didn't work. So I got them to fly us to London City Airport on Monday morning, which was super great because my husband and I both had meetings in the city to go to directly afterwards. So so a bit of an epic journey home, but lovely weekend, and I hope you all had a great time also, and hope you've had a good week. This week's been all about partnerships for me. A couple of really great partnerships kind of developing that I'm hoping to share with you soon. So the other thing to say to you before we get started is that next week's event, February's event, is coming up quickly. So next Thursday, between 10 and 12 o'clock in the morning. There are only 2 or 3 maybe tickets left. So if you're in London and you want to come along, then do make sure you grab those last tickets. It's going to be a great event. Really looking forward to seeing all of those of you that have already signed up and got your tickets. So it should be good. So today we are talking about standards, and want to just explain to you a little bit by what I mean by that. So we talk a lot in this group about goals and setting goals, and that's great. But for me, standards are more about how you're getting to your goals and setting your intentions for how you want to do that. And the reason why I think standards are a great thing to think about is it does help you get organised and stay focused, as I promised sort of in the intro to this live. It therefore helps you avoid distractions because you decide up front what you want to do in different areas of your life and your business. The other thing that I think is really good is that it's not sort of a pass-fail. It's saying this is the standard that I want to set myself on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And this is what I want to hit, but some days I might not. Some days I might do better, some days I might not quite get there, but that's okay. And so it allows you to reset, and it avoids that overwhelm and beating yourself up that I know I certainly do from time to time, and I'm sure that many of you do. That kind of, could do better thing that we all do to ourselves, that voice in your head that kind of makes you feel not so great. And it allows you just to reset and go, that's okay, so today wasn't a great day, right? So today I didn't hit my standards in this area, but tomorrow I get to reset, or next week I get to reset. So it's just a really nice way of looking at your journey towards your goals, if you like. So what is it? What am I actually talking about? So I'm talking about a tracker. You can use paper, you can use, I'm sure there are software out there. I love to use Excel. There's not much that can't go into a great spreadsheet. I don't know where my life would be without Excel, if I'm being honest. So I use Excel. I just have a simple spreadsheet, and then it's tracking in terms of daily, weekly, monthly, what you're doing in these different areas. So how do we do it? How do you get started then? So the first thing is to think about the different areas of your life that you want to have standards in, the significant areas of your life that are important to you. So for me, I have my health, I have my business, I have my relationships, and then I have giving back. So if you like, giving back to the community, giving back charity or doing work for free, and that's very important to me also. So they're the 4 areas for me. You might have other areas. For those of you that have a faith that guides your life, you might have that as an area. You might have different hobbies or activities that you want to include in there. But for me, it's mainly those 4 areas that I like to track. So the first thing is to decide on those kind of high-level areas of your life that you want to set yourself standards in. And then the next thing is to set those standards. So I'm going to give you some examples from mine, and I've printed off a page here. So I have got, at the top of the page, I've got kind of an overall statement that says this is what I'm trying to achieve, and I've written one word, and that is balance. So for me, it's all about trying to achieve balance through everything that I do. And so I've written that kind of at the top of the page as a reminder to me through all these standards and through the highs and lows of this entrepreneurial journey. It's important for me to stay balanced. You might have a different kind of overall goal, but that's definitely for me what I've got written at the top of the page. Then the first category that I've got is health. And under health, I have got mental health. I've got exercise, nutrition, and then support. And so, for example, the things that I track is what am I doing for my mental health? So I set myself a standard that I want to meditate at least once a day, and I want to get myself outside every day. One of the things that I have learned over the years is that however I am feeling, even if I'm having a really bad day, getting outside and even just going for a brisk 10-15 minute walk can make a huge amount of difference. And so I commit to myself that I will go outside every day, even if I don't feel like it. That's one of the commitments and the standards that I set myself. In terms of exercise is really important to me. It's really important for me to do vigorous exercise. It makes me feel great, it makes me feel focused, it kind of refreshes, it cleans my head, kind of cleans my brain, which is really important for those of you that have got very, very busy minds. Exercise is an amazing way to just kind of clean that out. It's one of the reasons why I love diving. It does the same thing. You kind of get into a bit of a zen state. So for me, exercise is something that I set myself a standard of. So I see Gabriel, my wonderful personal trainer, twice a week, and I try to go running at least twice a week. That's my standard also. And then also look at doing yoga on those non-exercise days as well, so that every day I've got something that is kind of specifically allocated to my health every single day. So that's my standard that I set myself. In terms of nutrition, so it is my goal, it is my standard not to eat sugar. I probably do need to confess that I'm a sugar addict. Some days it's easier not to have sugar than others, but it's something that I'm working on. So my standard is not to eat sugar, any refined sugar I should say. As I say, that's very much a work in progress. And in terms of support, I go to see a kinesiologist once a month, and he kind of tests me and monitors where I'm at and what my body's telling me and how I'm doing with that balance. And so that's the support that I have. You might have running buddies or exercise buddies, so any kind of support mechanism, for me, that's really important in terms of my overall health. So I'm interested to know, for you, what do you do for your health? What do you do? What standards do you set for yourself in terms of your mental health and in terms of your physical health? What standards could you set yourself in terms of nutrition and looking after yourself? And what support network do you have around you to kind of keep you on track with your health? So the next area that I've got on my tracker is my business. And I've got quite a few standards here that I like to track, and so I'm going to share them with you, and you can decide whether or not they would be helpful for you. And I'm also interested to know what you think would be interesting and useful to kind of track, and what standards you want to set yourself in your business. It's that feeling of I'm on track, I'm okay. If you have a low day or a day where you're not feeling particularly inspired and you don't really know, it's difficult to get your motivation, the fact that you've already set those standards, it can just really help, as I say, keep you organised and keep you focused. Like, what am I doing? Okay, yes, this is the standard I've set myself. So in terms of my business, in terms of the people that work with me, my team, it's very important that I check in with each one of those at least once a week, and not just from a work perspective, but also from a kind of a how are you doing perspective. That's really important to me, and that's a standard that I set myself. In terms of work, I want to make sure, and I ask myself every single day, is everybody that is working with me really clear about what I need from them and what I want from them? That's also a very important standard for me, and something to think about for those of you that have got teams. And when I say team, I don't mean full-time members of your staff necessarily. I also mean people that provide services to you. So anybody that is doing work for you, I would consider a member of your team. It's really important. Your job, I always say this to clients, your job is to give clarity to the people around you. You don't have to please everybody. This is not about being everybody's friend, but this is about making sure that the people around you are clear about your expectations and what you want from them. Sometimes you might not feel clear, but it's really important that even if you're not clear, that you try and make sure that everybody else is as clear as you can help them to be. I also then on my tracker have a pipeline where I capture all the things that I want to do, all the ideas, and I've written here so my brain doesn't explode. Otherwise, if I've got too many ideas and lots of creative things that I want to do, I want to do a podcast, I want to do webinars, I want to do all of these different things, I keep a track of those so my brain doesn't explode, and so I know I've kind of got somewhere to go back to for the next idea that I've got. And now we come on to customers and the people that I'm speaking to. So for my customers, I'm talking to them very regularly, but I make sure that I want to have a touch point with each of them on a very regular basis. So too the people that are considering working with me, I want to have a regular touch point with them. So I have a standard around that. Partnerships, I mentioned, partnerships are really, I think, they're going to define my business this year, and so partnerships is very much a focus, and some exciting news on that front to share with you very soon. But again, I've got standards around partnerships and how often I want to connect with those people that I'm working with. Also, former clients, very important not to forget about people that have worked with you before. I help entrepreneurs and business owners at different stages in their business, and so there are periods of time where they don't need my services, and that's absolutely fine. And for me, that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to start this community, and why I'm so passionate about it. It's really important to me that people feel supported all the way through their journey, not just when they're paying me money, quite frankly. So former clients, checking back in, how are you doing, where are you in that process, is there anything I can help you with, is there anything I can support you with, and just generally checking in. Very important. Then there's this community, super important to me. I'm very passionate about this community. So my standard here, you will be unsurprised to know, is that I go live at least once a week, and that I try to add as much value as I can. But my kind of minimum standard is definitely that I'm going live to communicate and speak with you and find out how you are at least once a week. In terms of meeting new people, then I have some standards around keeping my CRM up to date, and the number of events and people that I want to connect with each month, to make sure that I reach as many entrepreneurs as possible, to help them not get overwhelmed and to avoid burning themselves out. And then also having some standards around my social media. I don't do that, but having some standards in terms of what we're communicating and how often we're putting out videos and blogs, etc., and posts out there. So it's just setting some standards there as well. Also in terms of speaking engagements, as you know, I did a TEDx talk back in December, but there are more opportunities for me to speak, which I absolutely love to do. So also setting myself standards around those. And then accountability, something that we've spoken about before in terms of your broader support network. That's part of the purpose of this community, but it's really important to have people that you're speaking to that are holding you accountable, that are checking in with you regularly. Really, really important. It can be, I don't need to tell you, it can be really, really lonely, this wonderful entrepreneurial journey, which is, as I say, one of the reasons why this community was formed. But over and above that, having accountability, so having individuals, other business owners that you speak to is really, really important. Sometimes your family and friends often don't really get it, don't get why you do what you do, why you take the risks that you do, why you're so passionate about what you do, why you work so hard. And speaking to other business owners are really important to keep you focused and on track. And so I am still in touch and have a regular call with two wonderful business owners that I have known and I met right at the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, and I'm still in touch with them on a regular basis, and we hold each other accountable, we update each other, and that is just a great sort of check-in that I still maintain, and I definitely recommend for you to do. Okay, so what else have I got on this list in terms of business? So finances, updating, making sure that the finances are updated. Again, that's not something that I'm doing, but making sure that the finances are all fine and I can review those once a month is very important also. So they are my standards around my business. There's quite a few there. I'm really interested to hear, what are your standards in your business? What standard do you want to hold yourself to? How do you try to organise yourself? And what is that kind of minimum touch point that you want to have on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in your business? The next section that I have then is around relationships. So my husband and I for some time have made sure that whatever else is going on in our busy lives and in our businesses, that we sit down and have a coffee once a week. And it's normally on a Saturday morning. That's our Saturday morning ritual, that we go and we have coffee and we sit down and we just kind of check in with each other. How are we doing? And it's that sort of reconnection. So obviously we're seeing each other during the week if we're both at home, but that's a standard that we've both had and we've both committed to for many years now, and it's really, really, really helpful. So that's a standard that I have around that relationship. Also in terms of family, I have standards in terms of seeing my family, and also friends, so making sure that business doesn't take over my life and that I am seeing my friends as well, so setting standards in that area. So relationships are super important to me. I'm sure the same for you. So just being intentional about that. And the wonderful thing about tracking is that you can then look back and go, oh wow, it really has been quite a while since I've seen any of my friends, and I'm going to do something about that. And that's one of the reasons why I started doing this, is you can get so caught up kind of in the day-to-day of particularly of your business, and it just kind of takes over. And actually there are other parts of our lives that are important as well. So it's great to have all these business standards, and I would definitely recommend them. But in terms of health and in terms of relationships, also super important. And then the last category that I've got is giving back. So this is my pro bono work. So I always make sure at least once a month that I am doing something with a business owner for free. Maybe some young person that wants to start a business and doesn't have any money, or some kind of charity. Do some mentoring for early stage entrepreneurs and young people. So that's important to me, and I have a standard around that as well. You might have different ways of giving back to your community, and I think that if that's important to you, basically anything that's important to you, how about what's your standard? What would you be happy with if you look back at the end of the year and you say, okay, every month I did this, and that's my kind of, I'm happy with that. Yeah, this is not about shooting for the stars. That's what our goals are for. This is about our intentions. This is about setting a standard that you feel like you can maintain, something that's realistic, but that you feel comfortable, that you would feel proud of and happy with in all of these different areas. So we've talked about why standards are important and how they can help you be focused and organised and avoid those distractions, but also avoid overwhelm. What they are in terms of a tracker, as I say, I use Excel, doesn't need to be more complicated than that. And then how to actually do it, what the different categories are that I suggest. I'm really interested to know what your suggestions are and what you like to track or what you like to kind of focus on in your life. I gave you some examples of what I track, and I would encourage you now, if you don't already, to think about what are those areas and what are those standards that you want to set for yourself. I hope that gave you some food for thought. Those of you that are coming to the event next week, I'm really looking forward to seeing you then. It's going to be a great day. If you're not coming next week, or you can't make it, or you're not in London, look forward to catching up with you soon. If not before, then definitely on next Friday's Live. Hope you have a great rest of the day and enjoy your weekend, and take good care of yourselves. Bye for now.